the playground where the players play, and I'm honored to have as a guest of mine, friend of mine, very good friend of mine, ladies and gentlemen, Michael McGloiry. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey, y'all.
How you doing?
I'm good.
First question, as far as like your introduction into music, like way back in the day, what was the inspiration for that? How did you get into the guitar?
It really started with my sisters. I have 4 sisters.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Okay.
I have 3 older sisters and a twin.
Oh, okay.
I have a twin, so.
Mm-hmm. Twin sister.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, my sisters kind of ruled the soundtrack of our house.
Okay. Uh-huh.
You know, from doo-wop and jazz and Latin jazz, Cal Jader and
oh wow,
all of that, and
now each one of them had like their own taste as far as music.
Somewhat, but
I mean, because Cal Jader, man, that's like reaching. I mean, wow.
That's way well. I have my older sister is 11 years older than me. Then my next sister's 9, and my next sister is 6, and then it was like my sister and I. So, their influence, musical influences, kind of permeated through the house. And then my father was a blues guy, and my mom liked a lot of classical and some gospel, but basically they were like 3 teenagers eventually at one point, and I was influenced by all the, like I said, all the jazz, all the doo-wop, all the Motown, all, and they liked the Beatles, they liked, Tom Jones, they liked anything, it was ran the gamut. And I was a little 7, 8-year-old kid.
Okay.
And later I found out when I started doing my genealogy that I have musicians that go back. I mean, there's tons of musicians in my family.
Wow. Okay.
So that led me to start buying, like I said, I was buying my own music early on, and buying albums as a little kid. So then I got into the liner notes, and I got into who were the writers and who were the producers, and
those liner notes made careers. That's what I always say. It's like that was almost a record itself,
Absolutely. And once I got into what we used to call junior high school, this called middle school now.
middle school, right? Whatever that.
I started playing guitar at 13.
Okay.
Now, that's a story because my twin was into the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
She was into the Beatles. She had the card. She had, the magazine. She had this, she had that. So when A Hard Day's Night came out, now
I'm a diehard Beatles fan. Are we all?
But me being her twin, she couldn't go unless I went with her. Right. She couldn't go anywhere unless I went with her. In high school, if she wanted to go to a party, I had to go with her. So what I would do is I'd take her to the party, and then I'd ditch her at that party and go to another party. But that's another story.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Right. Okay.
And that was before cell phones. Where have you been all night?
Right. Before cell phones.
So I had to go with her. And I was really kind of bummed out about it. I don't want to go see. So we went. We're in the theater. Movie starts. As soon as they start playing, there's all these screaming girls. You could barely hear the movie. It was the movie was just a background music to the screaming girls.
Mm-hmm. Now you talk about the movie A Hard Day's Night.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We went the first day it came out. And I looked and I said, well, okay.
Okay.
I need to start playing guitar.
Right.
So I bugged my dad and I bugged my dad and I bugged my dad. And his famous first line is, okay, next Saturday. He next Saturday me for months.
Uh-huh.
So I finally got him to go to Montgomery Ward's and buy a guitar.
Wow.
And I still have the guitar somewhere in
you still
catacombs. Yeah.
Wow.
I had taken it apart and painted it and all sorts of stuff, but I still have it. Matter of fact, there's on my Facebook page, there's a picture of me playing that black and white airline guitar.
You just posted that recently?
No, now that one is.
Okay, this is another one.
With my 335.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like
in my high school black jacket, the red guitar.
Okay, right.
So that got me interested in playing guitar, but I was still collecting music, and I got really interested in the producers, like I said, the songwriters, and I started writing songs. I guess I started about 15 or 16, started writing songs.
You talked about A Hard Day's Night, and of course there's a song. At what point did you learn that first chord? Do you remember? Because you did, I'm sure you learned it.
I don't remember that, but
oh yeah?
How's it go?
No. A hard day. A hard day.
No. I know, but
okay.
That lick almost got me thrown out of the house. Dagger, you make him stop. He's playing that thing over and over and over.
What was that? Day Tripper, right?
Yes.
Right. That's fun.
Can you please make him stop? Yeah.
I hear you. So now you're playing guitar. You're being called in your local area, to play. I need you to play with my band and this and that and the other. And you get with your band and everything. When did you get more into songwriting? And I think that's where you're going before.
Oh, that had to start. And let me just, before we go there, I went to a guitar teacher for about 6 months, and I got tired of playing "Oh, Down in the Valley." So I want to learn the songs that are on the radio. I don't want to learn that. So,
who did you listen to? Who were the players that you listened to? I'm sure there were a lot of them, but your major influences, the ones who were okay, I want to play this. I want to play this guitar. And this artist is going to teach me how to play.
No, not so much artists, but once I got into learning who the session guys were playing on the records, that started me. I'm a big David T. Walker fan.
Yeah.
Played on all of those hit records and even Tommy Tedesco from the Wrecking Crew.
Yes. Yep.
Played on all of that, those early pop hits. And I finally had gotten to meet him, and he was a really nice guy. I had met him at a NAMM show, and funny guy. He says he'd doing a session, and he'd say, "Oh, you want to sound that's something like this?" And then he said, "Oh, well, you want a Hawaiian kind of thing? Oh, you mean like this? Oh, you mean you want this kind of sound?" And he was playing the same lick over and over again. I was dying.
Right. So question is, when you were coming up and you were playing and all that, and like I said, you were being hired to different bands or whatever.
Oh gosh.
You literally suck if you couldn't play this. No matter how good you were, if you couldn't play this lick, you sucked.
from Fire.
Who is it?
Ohio Players.
Fire. Okay, that's what you said. Okay, all right.
And
oh, that that part. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that let me see.
Right.
You couldn't play that. You didn't
right.
Get to hear it.
And that was the thing. It didn't matter how good you were. If you couldn't play this, sorry. We can't use it.
And let me just say,
mm-hmm.
when I was in high school,
mm-hmm.
I got really into Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
I really got into Yeah, I got really into Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, to be honest, to me, it really kind of stunted my growth as a player because I didn't learn the traditional way.
Mm-hmm.
So you never see me playing a lot of bar chords and this and that. I learned by listening to the radio that guys were playing parts.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing licks. They were playing feel. You know, and once I started doing sessions, I saw there was like 3 guys, 3 readers, and then there'd be 2 field guys doing fills. And it was funny because one of my first sessions when I was in LA was for Frank Wilson, who was a big producer back in the day.
Okay.
And there's 4 guitar players sitting there. I go to Frank and I said, Frank, it's already 4 guitar players here. What do you want me to do? Right, he says, as I lean in close, just do you.
Okay.
Because see, after they get everybody's parts, they get in there. Oh, I like this. I don't like that. I like this. I don't like that. And that's how they were making their records. You know.
And it's interesting that you mentioned parts, where the sessions were concerned, because that's one of the things I tell people as I was coming up, you learn a song or whatever, and you kind of see like other players, they're like, well, I'd listen to it and this is what's happening. It's like, no, that's not what's happening. You listen to the record. And I would always say it's the part that made the song a hit, so you can't just jam your way through it,
Because what I used to tell myself is, you have to find your parking place.
Ah, nice. I'm using that one, Michael. I'm taking that one.
You got to find your spot.
And
first and foremost, it's not about you. It's about who you're working for. And who you're working for, and then the song. Can you add something that will make the song, make something interesting? Make what was that? That was, I love guys that I love the Wah-Wahs and the David T's and Cornell Dupree's and all those guys, Pop Staples, Curtis Mayfield. All those guys that made something compelling when you heard those parts and people get ready, that stuff really were compelling parts. It made you sit back and listen and say, how did he do this? Or how did he do that?
Right. And I guess for me personally, and I mean, I mentioned There'll Never Be in the beginning when I was talking about like your introduction, where Switch was concerned. The guitar that you played, it wasn't like, you just had it best. It wasn't like just a thrown together thing. There was actually a thought process behind that part. And it's really, and I guess the word is tasty. I mean, it's really a tasty part. It's not just like this, hey, let me throw a wah-wah here or let me do that. And I'll tell you, and I've told you this before, as far as like other guitar players trying to emulate that, it's like, I know it when I hear it. And of course, there is no other Michael McGloiry, but there are a few people that can do what you did when they try to copy that, you know. So, and that's kudos to you. I mean, you're, you know, really.
But that was just a culmination of where I was at that point in time because like I said, I played with a lot of bands. And before I came to Motown, I was playing with Lenny Williams. Matter of fact.
Now, is this pre-Tower Power or like after?
After.
Okay.
It was after when he went on solo.
Okay. But let's go back a couple steps before you go there, and I'll try to remember that. What brought you to Motown?
I had been doing some sessions. I played on DJ Rogers' album, and I was playing with DJ Austin. And I left DJ to play with Lenny. That made him mad. So
I'm sure.
I played with Lenny. Then I played with Lenny, and Ronnie Rancifer was in the band. Ronnie Rancifer was the keyboard player with the Jackson 5. Ronnie's from Gary.
Wow. Okay.
So we played together with Lenny for a while, and then the Jackson 5 left Motown. And Jermaine stayed. And he says, Michael, I talked to Jermaine, and he's going to put a band together and go on the road. So Ronnie, myself, and David Garibaldi.
Wow.
The original Tower Power.
Yes.
Went to L.A. to go play with Jermaine. But before we went to L.A. to play with Jermaine, I get a call from Dave, and he says, hey, you want to go play with Sly? And I said, okay, hold on. Let me see. Of course I want to go play with Sly.
Right.
So at that time, I mean, even, you know, he might have been off people's radar at that point. He was like the foundation of every funk thing that was going in Oakland and anywhere else.
Yes.
He was a DJ on the radio when I was a little kid.
Right.
You know, and when Sly and the Family Stone came out, it was like I wore those records out.
Same here.
The foundation of a lot of what I'm even playing today comes from those, that music and that, you know, that point in time and that kind of feel.
Sly was everything, and everybody knows I'm a diehard Sly fan, so that's awesome.
And I love my guys from Minneapolis. I love them all. I know a lot of them. I know them. Matter of fact, they knew me before I even met. Oh, you're that guy that was playing on this. You played on DJ Rogers. You did. Yeah, that's me. And now they're talking about how, and I've met Prince, and I love him to death. I love his artistry. I love everything about it, but he didn't start that funk thing. Come on, y'all. Y'all know where that came from. He hired so many Oakland musicians over the years. Sheila E. and his brother, and Rosie Gaines, and what's that guitar player? I can't think of his name right now. But just lots trying to, and Larry Graham. You know, he tried. No, that didn't come from Prince. That was Sly. That was Sly and Larry Graham and Freddie Stone and Rose Stone and Cynthia and Jerry and you know, that's where that came from.
And there's like there are some things that I hear in your playing, especially where it comes to like the rhythmic parts, that I can totally hear like a Sly influence, like a Freddie Stone influence or whatever. For one of our songs, and maybe I'm off base here, or maybe I'm wrong here, but for one of our songs, Best Beat in Town, I kind of hear that. And that's one of those songs where, no, this note is also in that chord. And like I said, very few guitar players nail that like you did.
Because Freddie Stone plays this suspended chord. You know, a lot of people play it, but he played it like.
Yep.
And that leads to. And that leads to. And see, there's a little trick to it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
I've never heard anybody play that right ever.
I know. And it's those little things that you add to that, and I don't think people hear that.
And you can roll it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not gonna let you guys see that.
I was just thinking, oh, my people are gonna get a treat here.
I don't know if I can do it. It goes like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can roll it. Because I can roll it too. You know? And those muteds, it's almost like a triplet. You know?
I always thought, I mean, back in those days, man, that you're playing was interesting. It was always interesting to me. Like, how'd you come up with that? And they worked like nobody's business.
Hey, I have a quick question for you. Do you want a professional agency to handle all your video creation, syndication, and monetization needs? We totally understand that new leads and customers are the lifeblood for any business. And if you're looking to grow or scale your business, using video is definitely the best way to go. Here at Melrose 11, we specialize in getting you the results you need to help you grow your business by generating new leads, driving more traffic, and closing more sales without breaking your bank. Did you know, according to HubSpot, having a well-targeted video on your landing page can increase conversions by up to 80%? Yeah, and up to 64% of users are more likely to buy a product online after watching video than by text alone. And that 92% of mobile users share videos with others. And
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that that's all Sly.
Right. Until you missed that, I didn't think about it, but now I can totally hear it. You know, and Best Beat, like I said, that the song that we're talking about is Switch's Best Beat in Town, where those licks are, and they're just awesome. So let's move on to your songwriting, and production. Michael's got quite the list of people that he's worked with and that he's written songs for. As a matter of fact, can you name? Will you name a few?
First is Jermaine Jackson. Jermaine Jackson, Cheryl Lynn, Carl Carlton.
Yeah. And that Carl Carlton song, by the way, is
I didn't write that, but the one you know is that one. And that when you hear that, and when you hear that intro, that's yours truly. Matter of fact, Patty Austin did Let It Ride. Remember Let It Ride? And that's it starts with another slide lick.
Right. Oh, okay.
Sly.
Now I got to ask you, just for me, had you ever met Freddie Stone? You have. Oh man, Freddie Stone of Sly and the Family Stone. How was that?
It's like it's like I don't. It's not like meeting. It's like meeting Willie Mays or Dan Musial or Mickey Mantle or you know.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
He was my Willie Mays.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
You know.
So we were going to go into like your songwriting and your production credits and all that. How did that work for you? How did that come about? You know, what kind of led you in that direction? Because you're quite the accomplished writer and producer as well.
I was always fascinated with the written word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice answer.
And I was always fascinated with the producers,
mm-hmm.
the arrangers,
mm-hmm.
the
and
Tommy Bell,
mm-hmm.
Tommy Bell in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all that dissecting and how did he do this and why doesn't he use saxophones? And I later found out he didn't use saxophones because they had a hard time staying in tune.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
And, you know, Willie Mitchell, you know, and all those guys, those Memphis guys that played on all those Memphis Stax records. And I finally, I guess it was about 73, was it 73 or 74? A friend of mine knew Marvin Gaye.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvin was working on his Let's Get It On album. And we went down there to hang out with Marvin for about 3, I don't know, it wasn't a month, maybe 3 weeks,
right,
when he was doing Let's Get It On. Mm-hmm. And every night we were going in the studio with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the fly on the wall. Not really, because I was watching everything. I was looking at everything. I was watching, and I was looking, and he'd say, you want to know how we do this? You know what? And then one night we were in the studio, and at the end we were, because he was one of those guys, and I first got a glimpse into how the process worked.
Right. Okay.
And he wouldn't start recording until like midnight and stayed there all night.
Wow. Okay.
6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we were leaving the studio one night, and he said in his unmistakable voice, "Well, son, did you learn anything tonight?"
Really?
And I said, "Yes, Daddy." Because I got firsthand and how he overdubbed, sang with himself, placed his vocals, background vocals, all of that stuff comes all the way back to him, and it's like.
And that's pretty cool that even back then that somebody would take you under their wing and care enough to ask you like what you learned, you know, and not feel threatened by.
Yeah, because even I had a band. Mm-hmm. In Oakland, and I told Marvin about the band, and he says, "Well, you guys want to go in the studio?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Yeah, of course." So he got me some studio time at the record plant in Sausalito.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And so we booked the time, and you know, I told all the guys at rehearsal, you know, and songs we were gonna do, and we went to Sausalito and got there early, and you know, we were setting up stuff, and his session was supposed to start like at 7. Okay, at 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 guys there.
Mm-hmm.
7:30. This is a 10-piece band.
Mm-hmm.
7:30, there's 4 guys there. 8 o'clock, there's 4 people here. Well, I don't think everybody's going to show up tonight. So then when we go to rehearsal, and they said, rest of the guys said, "Oh, we went to go see Graham Central Station." 2 of the guys. Then the other one said, "Well, when you told us, we didn't believe you."
Wow.
So now I got to go back to Marvin and tell him, oh man, I'm on the hook for this studio. He said, Michael, don't worry about
it. Wow. That's cool. That's cool.
And some
of those people would believe that.
And some of those people are still on the naughty list today. They're on the persona non grata list. God, I'm sorry, but they're you know.
So these days, what are you up to, or what's the future look like for you as far as like the business? What are you planning?
I've got a couple of acts that I'm doing some consulting.
Sweet. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Mostly song analysis, try to get them to, make compelling statements. That and the mixing and just overall just being another ear and
gotcha.
Just kind of giving back.
I hear you. Are you going to be into the creative part? Are you still writing, or is it going to be mostly in the production?
Well, it's funny when you start like the pre-production stage, you almost by default get into the writing.
Right. True.
And it's like this your chorus takes too long for you to get to the chorus, or you've got a double chorus when you should be going into your second verse instead of that kind of thing.
It's kind of interesting that now that you're there, and I'm going to go back to There'll Never Be, and that'll be the last I'm going to talk about it. And I just recently wrote about this, and I'm sure you remember when we recorded There'll Never Be, what ended up being the final product was not the way that we recorded it. Right in line with what you're saying. You want to put this here, put this there, put that there. And we recorded, you remember it was verse, I think solo, verse, and then out. Then we just jammed on that, There'll never be. We just jammed on that, So to your point, as far as like how songs are written, I think that's a, good example,
Right. And now that you mention it, that's the first song that I have two solos in. Probably the first and only.
That's it. That's it. And the song is a hit.
I had the intro and I have a solo in the middle.
And a solo, right?
God is good, isn't he? He really.
And the song is a hit. So what advice would you offer not only guitarists, or maybe not only guitarists, but musicians or people that are coming up in the business in general?
Don't do any of the things that I do. No, to be serious, learn everything, forget everything, and then just play. And what I mean by that is, don't let convention paint you in a box.
Great advice. Great advice.
Learn enough so you know how to break the rules to make yourself stand out from everybody else. And do it with some passion and be compelled and try to make some compelling music. Because we had this conversation about this guy that we're both kind of obsessed with right now,
right?
JC. And in a way, because the guy's you can tell that the guy's a very well-trained musician, but I still hear myself in the way his creative process is a lot like how I did back in the day.
Okay.
When I started writing my own songs, it was just a Roland CR78 and my guitar, and drum or a drum machine, and he kind of has that same kind of mentality. Because if you listen to Jermaine's first album, Feel the Fire,
Oh yeah,
and if you listen to that Feel the Fire track, right here. Background.
Nice.
Right here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I hear those elements in his, because he, and I said, I know that I know where that energy comes from.
Right.
But anyway,
Nice.
one of these days I need to do some of those songs over.
Well, make one of these days very soon, Michael.
Yeah, it's like this one.
Ah, yes.
You know Patty Austin?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Nice. Yep.
But
Right.
people think it's and it is, but it's broken up between the instruments.
Okay.
So it's like a counterpoint phrase. This guy plays this much, this guy plays this much, this much, and and so on.
Right.
But,
Right.
And Let It Ride is the same thing. You think it's dun 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 dun. Yeah, and it's one phrase, but you break it up between the parts.
And I remember all of us thinking back then, Jermaine, funky like this? Like, whoa. I mean, it took me years to like really get that, Jermaine is actually like a very good bass player, very good. I mean, that's like a very little known fact. He's like really funky when it comes down to it, because he was always credited, of course, with the Jacksons and the singing and all that stuff, but a very good bass player, So, well, listen, Michael, thank you. Thank you very much for doing this. Really appreciate it. And thank you for being one of our players on the playground. You were awesome. Thank you for being on the playground where the players come to play, and you're definitely one of those players. Thank you.